Ladies and gentlemen, today, January 6th, 2021, I experienced something that made me feel real bad. I experienced American citizens calling themselves being patriotic by making an effort to force the change, the outcome of an election, a general election, to input their candidate who lost the election, to put him in office, force the nation to put him into office. And he set it up by setting the court system up with what he considered being loyalists from the local courts, district courts, federal courts, Supreme Court. Got the whole basic United States Senate to support everything that he was doing. I don't know how he pulled that one off, but it hurt me today to see these American citizens, most of them racist, bigots, our brothers and sisters who were raised up in a different environment, taught to hate, taught to be racist and prejudiced, taught that they were superior to others and that they should resent others. All of these things, this ugliness that they are, that they represent, they were taught. And to see them being inflamed by a crook, a con artist, who's using them to protect himself from prosecution for the crimes that he has committed against the people of this country as a citizen and as a elected representative of their government. He is absolutely despicable. And he has divided the nation by the process, the normal processes. I don't need to repeat them. And he's calling the people who listens to him, the ones who would see him kill someone down Fifth Avenue, and excuse him. Well, that's what he did today when he allowed that riot to take place at the state capitol. And this young lady ended up being shot and killed as a result of something that he instigated. He is responsible for that lady's death. He is responsible for all of the crime that took place in that space today. And it breaks my heart, ladies and gentlemen, because I believe I'm not the smartest person. I fall way behind a lot of you guys. You know, I don't know what your ATC score was, but mine was, I don't even remember. But if it was pretty good, I'm sure I remember it. My SAT, I don't remember what it was, but I'm sure if it was pretty good, I'd remember it. Oh, I took it. I used them. They were sufficient enough to get me through a door. But it's nothing for me to brag about. But I don't have to brag about that because I know that there are those of you out there in America, those of you in my community that got all the smarts that's needed. And so I don't have to worry about being that smart. I'm smart enough to do what I've been given to do. And that's all the smart I need. I don't need to outsmart you. I need to let you be you, and that's what I want. That's what I've always dreamed of. And I believe that every last one of you have an ambition to be something, to do something. Many of you wish you were a musician, but you're not. But they are musicians, the guys that start off real young. Sometimes babies, they're like geniuses. And they can really master it, whether it doesn't matter whether it's piano, whether it's strings, or drums, brass. It doesn't matter, woodwind. They can do it all. And I mean, they can do it great. And they can do it well enough to make you feel satisfied. Then there are those of you out there who can dance. I'm saying these things because these things seem to be nice and easy. Some of you can take a paintbrush and paint. Some of you can take a pencil and draw. Some of you can wash dishes. Some of you can build houses. And some of you can make nails. And some of you can lay tiles. Some of you can build streets, drive machinery. Some of you can farm. I mean, and just what you do, what you love doing. Basketball, football, racing cars, wrestling with bulls, teaching in medicine, all of the different fields. Whatever it is that you love to do is what I dream of you doing. I dream of you doing it because it's what you love doing. And I know that everything that each of us love doing works for the good of a common cause, whether we know it or not. In most instances, the things that it does that's good, we know. We know it's good for the things of producing the food and the clothing and the shelter. We know that our gifts are good in doing that. We know that our gifts are good in mastering knowledge and teaching and educating one another. We know that these things, when it comes down to medicine, we know the role that each of us play in those we know that you can do this. And we know that in the society that we live in, a lot of things have been restricted because of lack of funds. Research has been restricted because of lack of funds. Making the best houses has been restricted because of for profit. Trying to get, rather than using the best materials and using your best skilled labor, you're trying to save money by marketing down. But we want to get rid of all of that excuse. And you get the best material, and you get the professionals to work together with you to make sure that you produce the best product. This is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen, that the things that are essential for your survival, food, clothing, shelter, and education. Now, this is what I'm seeing for myself and my family. So I'm seeing this for you, yourselves, and your family. Never suffering for food, clothing, shelter, education, healthcare, and a career and a job that makes you entitled to any and everything, some are your cut of any and everything that exists by the hands of men. You don't need money, not for what you own. You guys, the human beings that work, you own all the stuff. When you go to the car lots and you see cars out there, when you go to these department stores and you see all these different things, all this stuff that you wish that you could get, all of these things that you wish you could own, when you go to the store, you see this kind of food you wish, you see clothes you wish. Do you know that if you knew the truth, that if all of you had jobs, not just say a lot of people don't have jobs because the system is designed to keep you from working, but if the system was designed to allow you to work in the skills that you got, in the talents and the gifts that you got, as I just articulated, you would be working in the same fields that produce all of these things that you see, that you wish you could get, that you can't get now. But in this new system, just allowing you to work and play a part in the creation of all these different things, that makes you part on it, because your work is your investment. They're talking about the reservoir of goods and services. Your career, your engaging, that's your investment, and the returns are all of the stuff, the infrastructure, everything. That's the return. You invested. This is the return. All of you guys got a cut. You can access it whenever you need it, whenever you want it, whenever you desire it. And there's nobody over you talking about what they own. No, 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 brothers and sisters. Nobody owns anything. You, the people, own everything. Let me say it to you again. You, the people, own everything. And for what I saw today, when I offered this stuff to you, when I ran for president years ago, you couldn't see it because the powers that be didn't want you to see it. They wouldn't, they weren't going to tell you. They told you when Trump started lying. He didn't even have to pay for the attention. They just told you. And if they had told you what I just shared with you when I came ran for president, you would have done the same thing for this program. And if I had been white, they would have told you. And you would have been excited. But you didn't know. And so, not knowing, not taking advantage of the situation as it was back in those days, you ended up trying other different mediums. You tried George Bush. That didn't work. Before that, you tried the Clinton. That didn't work. Then you tried the Bushes. And then that didn't work. You tried the Obama, and that didn't work. And rather than try to go back to the truth, go back to that which represents compassion and love and empathy. Rather than doing that, you start getting angry and pulling up your hate and your racist and your bigotry stuff that you were taught a long time ago. And then here come that voice, Donald Trump, allowed you to come from under them beds and shout. And today you saw what that means. Anarchy. You saw insurrection. You saw people bent on being your boss. And the president incited it, caused it to happen, called them to Washington, gave them instructions, then sent them down to speak to the state capitol and told them, don't be weak, be mean. And at the same time, not just a year ago perhaps, there were people who were standing up because they were killing black people. And these people were marching peacefully down the street. In the military, they called out the National Guard, and they called out yes, some things happened, just like some things happened with them. But they called out the National Guard, they called the police out, they were tear gassing, they were shooting rubber bullets. And these guys, they was doing everything, I understand. They were walking amongst and in the mix with the cops, with their flags and telephones and talking smack. This is the way things are done, they say. Well, and remember Jacob Blake, the young man that was shot in the back several times by a cop? He was going to his car, the cop walking behind him, put him by his t-shirt. And when he leaned in the car, the cop said he felt threatened. And they gave this coward a gun. They put a gun in this coward's hand who was so threatened by somebody opening the door that he shot him in the back 7 times. And the legal system says, well, I don't think I can prosecute him. I can't prove that he wasn't scared. Isn't that something? Shot him 7 times in the back. And they let him keep the gun. So I'm saying to black people, the scenario that I just shared with you about this loving kindness and stuff, every last one of you should support it. All of you who commit crimes and violence and get angry all the time because your life is so screwed up, you should listen to this program. You should listen to it. You should be supporting the change. If these people can support the evil stuff that Donald Trump was talking, if they can go crazy, ready to kill people, cut people's head off, go into state capitals with guns and shoot people, take them down, murder with this hatred, if they are willing to do that for evil, look like you should be willing to stand up for love, especially when you benefit from it as well. You should be, and there shouldn't be no one begging you to do it. You should be excited about it. And at the same time, I find myself here at this moment in time feeling real bad because you've rejected God's love. You've rejected the love that you could share for one another. and bought into the fear of something ugly. Thank you for listening.